So when we start serving the Lord and worshiping Him the way we're supposed to, not because, like I was saying, of what He can do for us, but just because He is, because He's great. It doesn't matter that my car broke down. He's still great. It doesn't matter that my house blew away. He's still great. It doesn't matter that my grades aren't the best. He's still great. It doesn't matter that my job, when I look at my check is like really lean. He's still great. And the thing is that, the story of Paul and Silas says that when Paul and Silas were in the innermost prison, they were treated like the worst criminals of the day. The worst criminal of the day. They were stuck into a little cave, because it wasn't even a prison. It was a little cave. Their hands and their feet shackled to a piece of wood, and they were bent all this time, like a little U. We do that without a block of wood doing that, and it's uncomfortable for us. But the Bible states, and history proves it, that at the midnight hour, that's when you really start thinking and you start wigging out and whatnot. They chose not to wig out. They had every right, every reason to be wigging out. But they didn't. They said, let's sing. And who knows what they sang? They probably sang When the Roll is Cold Up Yonder or Down by the Riverside. Who knows what they sang? Maybe before T-Bone made Down by the Riverside popular, they sang it first. And the thing was that as they're singing, stuff starts to happen. The earth starts rumbling. And people go, okay, big whoop. They had an earthquake. And that's okay. But an earthquake cannot cause jail doors to open. Or maybe it could. If the earth shook hard enough, yeah, the doors could fall off. Okay, I take that back. They could fall off. But the one thing that the earthquake cannot do is open up shackles. And everybody's shackles were open. Not just Paul and Silas, but everybody in the prison received deliverance. So you see, again, going back to what our initial topic was, the thing is not how much do you trust God? It's how much God trusts you. When there is conviction, like Job displayed, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego displayed, when the way the prophets displayed conviction, King David, when he went to fight with Goliath, with just three little stones, and he went to fight a giant that was a seasoned warrior. When you have that type of conviction in your heart, in your life, God doesn't have any other choice but to give you victory. He doesn't have any other choice. Because you went beyond. And and some people say, well, look at Jesus. He gave everything he had, and they even killed him. Yeah, they did. But that tomb in Jerusalem is empty. There's nobody there. So even though they apparently beat him, just like they did to a whole bunch of saints before him and after him, God used those same people that killed them to promote the good news of how they died. We have a Simon Peter, same Peter that walked on the water. The same Peter that helped feed the 5,000. We have that Peter, the same Peter that denied Jesus at the cross. That same Peter. We see him totally transformed, and he becomes an evangelist. And at the moment of his death, when they went to crucify him, he said, "No, you cannot crucify me like my master, because I am not worthy of dying like him. I'll die, but you're gonna do it the other way. You're gonna hang me with my head down." And they did. Paul saw it in half. You know, all these great men of the Bible met tragic deaths. But even then, God used the worst moment in their life to glorify himself. And a lot of people came to the Lord even on those days. So when it gets bad, when it gets dark, when it's raining, and it gets crazy, when we don't understand, and Lord knows I don't understand a whole lot, he's still sitting on the throne. And at least for me, speaking for me, I have to remind myself of something that I used to say as a kid. And I would tell Mom, I will not make it to heaven running. I may not make it to heaven walking. I may not even make it to heaven dragging myself, crawling. I said, but even if I have to drag myself over every little rock and just have my skin cut to shreds because I'm moving forward, even if it's a little bit at a time, I will, and I want to make it to heaven. As I say that, I look back and reflect and know my life has not been easy. Choices have been made, things have happened that have shaped my life to what it is right now. But the great thing is that, as we were saying yesterday, our daddy is the pilot, and he still is in control. We may freak out. We may freak out over what needs to happen to us, over what he allows to happen to us. But even if he allows it, even if we, by choices that we made, look for whatever is happening to us, or even if it's attack that's coming straight from the pits of hell to destroy you, we will stand. We will stand. Because greater is he that is with us than he that is against us. And wouldn't it be great if one day we had the privilege of God vouching for us as far as our character goes, like he did for Job? When you go to get a job, they ask for character references and whatnot. You can't beat that character reference. One that comes from heaven itself and says who you are. Let us pray.